wreck than I was. Like she was very clearly uncomfortable with what I'd done.
Oh man, that was great.
Yeah.
I love seeing that.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it definitely was. So hi Dash. Sorry, my dog decided he wants petted. So you NSO'd for, I'm sorry, how many years again?
I think about 2.
2 years, 2 seasons. Okay.
Yeah.
So you started on your journey to trying out for CRG, and you tried out a couple of times.
Yeah.
How many times total did you try out for?
I tried out 3 times and I made it on the 3rd time.
Okay.
But within that time frame, there was another tryout that I had the opportunity to do that I didn't.
Okay.
So it was about the length of 4 tryouts.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah.
So that's a lot of, try out the first time, I don't make it. Mm-hmm. I try it again, I don't make it. I think a lot of people at that point would kind of really get discouraged. And obviously you may have, but you didn't, in the respect that you kept coming back and kept, working and trying. But how was that emotionally? Was that tough to come back and try out, or did it make you even more determined to do it, or what was that?
I think in my case, it really just added a resolve to it, because the first 2 times especially that I tried out, I was nowhere close to where I needed to be. Okay. And I knew that. I had no illusions that I was going to make the team. It was literally just me trying to get a feel for what the team expected and where I might fit into that. Okay. But I was nowhere close. The first time I couldn't even turn around toe stop. I could barely stop.
Well, I can't either, so don't feel bad.
It was rough. But by the 3rd time I tried out, I definitely felt more ready. I started CrossFit. I had been really just dedicated to skating as much as possible. Okay. And by then I did feel more ready. Okay. It was still a surprise though. I mean, when you prepare for something for so long and it finally happens, you're not. It's really difficult to mentally prepare for that.
Sure. So then there was, and I believe it was the beginning of this season, the issue with the 27 laps in 5 minutes thing. Okay. Yeah. So tell me about that.
Yeah. So everyone has their strengths and their weaknesses, and mine will always be speed. Always. Okay. And so I'm not a fast skater. It's just not me. And so for me, the 27.5 was a huge challenge, and I'd never really had to fulfill the full 27.5 because during our tryouts, we had done the 5 laps in a minute. Okay. And I was able to do that. But the 27.5, and it was a huge mental thing for me too. Mm-hmm. So I didn't pass it twice, and then I think I got it on the 3rd try, 3rd or 4th try. But it was definitely something that it was a huge mental challenge to overcome for me because, like I said, it's just not a natural skill for me.
Yeah, yeah. And again, that was one of those cases where that was a Sunday at the skating place, and I talked to you a little in the morning, a little before, and I could tell you kind of were a little concerned about getting it and making it because we had a game coming up in like 2 weeks. Yeah. So it was a big deal. Yeah. That you crossed this, jumped this hurdle.
Yeah, that was probably the highlight of my season, at least. Maybe even since I've started skating, it was a huge deal because,
other than this interview, right?
Yeah,
this is a big deal, right?
Of course.
Yeah,
no, but it was a huge deal to me because everybody pretty much in the league but me had passed it at that point. Okay. And so you want to be the best you can for your teammates. And when you feel like you're not living up to that or you're not being the best you can, I felt a little bit like I was dead weight. And I felt like I had this weight until I was able to pass it. And then I felt like I could breathe again. Okay, so. Excellent.
All right. So recently, you had some big news, and as far as timing goes as to when we are in the season, actually next week, CRG heads to Lansing, Michigan for Division II tournaments. First time in tournaments in 3 years. Yeah. So that's a huge deal for Cincinnati. They're going to be taking out Calgary on the Friday game. But you actually just made charter for Cincinnati. So huge congratulations on that. That is really awesome.
Thank you.
So it's really, it's almost like a Disney movie. Like from the very beginning to, you start as an NSO. I've never skated in my life. I've never played a sport. I got out there, I did this, and I made the team after, a couple of tries, and then I, did my laps thing. And now you're on the charter, so you're eligible to to play on the the sheep,
Yeah.
the A team, so to speak. How exciting is that?
It's incredibly invigorating, but it's also simultaneously terrifying.
I can imagine. I'd imagine. Like, I'm scared as shit
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. It's kind of like I'm holding on for dear life.
Yeah.
And when that day comes, I think I'll want to like crap my pants. But until then, it's a huge, huge honor.
Okay.
It's not. Yet again, it's one of those things where when I made the team, I was never like, oh, I want to be a sheep player, because I had started from not knowing how to skate. And so when you start at that level and you're not a natural athlete, you don't expect to ever really be on the A team level.
Yeah.
And so even being considered for that is something that I can't really wrap my head around.
If you can remember back, tell me about your first game that you played at the Gardens.
Well, obviously it was this season. It was really rough because everybody else has like their bout day rituals and routines and everything, and when you're new to playing at the Gardens, I had to kind of find my own routine through the day. But it was this mix of nervous energy, but also just being completely thrilled. I had watched so many games at the Gardens, countless.
Mm-hmm.
I'd watched the juniors, I'd watched CRG, I'd watched the Rams, just so many through the years. And so getting to actually be in one and getting to skate out through the curtain was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And just the venue itself, I mean, even if you take all the derby that I've watched away and you just focus on the venue itself, getting to play at the Gardens was phenomenal. I mean, my dad's seen Ozzy Osbourne there and Elton John.
Place got some history for sure.
Yeah. And knowing that, like, my father had grown up going there and now I'm playing in a game there, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, excellent. All right. Yeah, no, it definitely it's one of those places that has a lot of history, and it's sad to see it go.
Yeah.
Have you developed any bout day rituals since you played a couple of games?
Yeah, I am very stringent about getting there very early. I like to be there as soon as the venue opens. I like to eat my lunch there. I like to kind of settle in and almost live there for the day.
I understand.
And I don't like to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
I pretty much head straight to the venue that day. After I eat lunch, I immediately gear up and I like to try to skate the track a little bit alone if I can, or just during open track. It's just things that I like to try to do to keep my head clear, because there's still a lot of nervous energy because I still feel so new.
Yeah, right.
So.
And I guess it's kind of two schools of thought with that. Like, if I show up early, I get a chance to get all that nervousness out.
Yep.
But if I'm there all day, maybe I'll get more nervous. So it just depends on what your take on it is.
Mine is definitely the getting it out. That time goes so fast. It's almost like a black hole vortex kind of situation. Like,
you look down and all of a sudden it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my god!
Yeah, I look down and before I know it, like, I think almost every single game this year I was almost late to Quad's like meeting with us in the locker room.
Story time with Quad.
And I was like the first person there, and I was always like almost late. So
yeah, all right. Well, thanks for coming in today and hanging out and talking with us a little bit. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to 2017. Yes. It's going to be the year of the hustle. I feel it.
So great.
All right.
I can't wait.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. Again, this is Thad Scott, Star Pass News for Karli Hustle, and we'll catch y'all later.